So adjustment layers are fundamental to any kind of image adjustment. Bottom line, what they do is that they create an adjustment, a global adjustment over your entire image on a separate layer automatically. And then, conveniently, they provide a layer mask automatically with the intention that you will mask whenever you adjust. This is one of the best things in Photoshop in terms of image adjustment, and something that we've been working toward all semester. So we have an adjustment panel, which you can see up here. Oops, I just closed it. Sorry about that. And there's a lot of little icons, which I'm not that thrilled about, but people like icons. Actually, if you look down here, there's the old way of getting adjustment layers, which is a circle that is half black and half white. And when you click on it, you get a whole list of all the things that are located up here in a panel. So they've just been relocated in a panel to make it more convenient. One of the most important ones is levels, and that's this icon right here. It's a histogram is what you see in that icon. And when you scroll over any of these icons, you'll see over in the corner here that it tells you what that icon is. So if I click on levels, what this does is adjust the contrast of your picture. If any of you are using brightness and contrast, forget about it. That is a slider that just gives you one option, where adjustments using levels gives you a black point, a midtone, and a highlight point. And later we'll talk about curves, which gives you 16 points as opposed to just 3. So when you're judging any kind of adjustment, the more sliders you have, the better. What that means is that you can control how that adjustment works. So for now, we'll use levels. And I think what I'd like to do is lighten up the ocean right here, but keeping the sky dark. So what I'm going to do is adjust just looking at the ocean. So I'm going to take my midtones and pull them toward the left. And I'll go to the extreme so that you can see it on your screen. I'll go a little too much. And you can see down here, automatically, this adjustment layer popped up, levels. And there's a mask provided right here. Works exactly like the layer mask that we've been using. Now I want to actually cover up this adjustment. I made the adjustment, but now I want to cover it up and paint it in using the layer mask. Now I could just take this mask and fill it with black, but instead, since we're using a lot of panels here, I'll use the mask panel and just hit the invert button. What that did is turned my layer mask into a black layer mask. So that was mask panel invert. Otherwise, if you prefer, you can go under edit fill with black like we did in the past. Either way works. Then what I'm going to do is use the paintbrush using white as my color. And I'll go with a pretty big brush here. And as you can see, I'm not painting white. What I'm doing is I'm painting on the mask itself. And what it's doing is it's revealing the adjustment. So just like when you use solid color and you paint it in you used the pen tool to create a path, this is basically using the brush to lighten just the ocean in this picture. And of course I'm going to have to go in with a very small brush, maybe lower the opacity as I get closer to the horizon line here, and just go in. So this gives you kind of a dodging effect if you've done any regular photography. And what it's doing is it's letting me mask off just the part of the ocean that I want to lighten. And by painting with white, I will show you what the mask looks like. There it is. And that white area is letting that levels adjustment trickle through. So wherever it's black, it's going to block that adjustment, keeping the sky dark. And where it's white, it's allowing the lighter levels to come through. So the lightening of my midtone by using levels. So here's before, after, before, after. I could do a much better job of masking in here. So I'm trying to keep I guess I can lighten up the windsurfer guy a little. Nah. And the nice thing about this is I just hit X and I can bring them back by painting black. So it works exactly like the layer masks that we used in past assignments. So imagine you can lighten someone's face if it has a dark edge. This is endlessly useful. And now I'm going to hit the back button on my adjustment layers, which is located right here. It's kind of like a back button on a web page. And it gets me back to where I could choose other adjustments as well. Color balance is one that you'll be using. So mostly for your retouch, it's going to be a combination of color balance and, let me hit the back button, and levels. So those two are going to be your key components, because really when you're working with old photos, mostly you get a shift in color and a loss of contrast. So what I want to tell you is I don't want to see you ever using any of your images and doing an adjustment directly on the background. I want to see all your image adjustments happening with these adjustment layers. So you'll have a lot of layers with this kind of adjustment. And you can make a simple adjustment in levels and then make another layer for a second adjustment. So the possibilities are endless.